Hi everyone. This is the short little mini lesson I told you about on the rhetorical analysis, the visual rhetorical analysis. So this draft counts for it's a high stakes assignment, so it counts for 20% of your grade. So y'all should have read all of the information about the general overall overview and purpose. So this is a rhetorical analysis. We're required in 111 to assign some sort of visual rhetorical analysis to you. Um, it's important that you understand rhetoric and how it is used. Um, Remember, the modes of appeal are what we're going to be focused on for this particular assignment. So we're going to be analyzing the ethos, pathos, and logos of your commercial. So that's what all of this talks about. So that's just the in a nutshell. So you were supposed to, although some of you didn't read all the instructions, you were supposed to pick a ad from the 2023 Super Bowl because there's information out there for you for that particular ad. But I approved, if you picked one from this year, I went ahead and approved it for you. So here's your student objectives. I'm not going to read them all. So you're going to select an ad. You should have gone to this site. Um, you want to know when you're doing your analysis, what's the purpose of the ad? So most of it is going to be selling something, but you want to think about it in more than that. Um, so a couple of you did like PSAs. One of you did the He Gets Us, um, the recent campaign ads about Jesus. This one was about foot washing. There was one about cancer. So those weren't trying to sell you something, but they were trying to get you to do something, which is typical of a PSA. So a PSA is trying to get you to stop texting and driving, drinking and driving, um, littering, wants you to advocate for people to do more recycling, things to help the environment. So a PSA is a little bit different than than a regular commercial, which is trying to um, through humor, through nostalgia, um, which is what? That's pathos, right? It's trying to get you to persuade you to do something like buy their product. Okay. So, what are they specifically? What qualities or characteristics are they specifically advertising or striving to promote? Who is the target audience? Um, it's not everyone most of the time. Um, if you're doing a Dunkin' Donuts ad, you are targeting people who go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts on a regular basis. Um, People who don't go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts isn't going to be swayed by that advertisement to go buy donuts or coffee drinks. Um, uh, Same with, so it's going to be people that they think are the potential buyers, and there's usually they consider age, class, ethnicity, um, who would most likely be influenced. So that's your particular context and that's your target audience. How does the ad incorporate rhetorical appeals? If you gave me a bunch of summary, then I commented back, there's too much summary. There's too much this. Um, because the purpose of this paper is not to tell me how great Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez looked on the Dunkin' ad. That's not the purpose of that. And those that did Dunkin', don't think I'm picking on you specifically. That's just one of the ads that popped that I remember the most. So, um, but it could have been any of the ads. Um, it could have been the DoorDash ad. It could have been the CeraVe ad. It could have been any of them. You're not analyzing the and summarizing the ad. You are analyzing the use of the rhetorical appeal. So how did they use it? Was it effective? Okay. So those of you, some of you said there's no ethos in this. If you said that, then I probably made a comment on it, because all of these should have some kind of ethos, if nothing else, the brand. Um, Dunkin' Donuts is very well known. CeraVe is very well known. DoorDash is well known. Those all are companies that are brands that those companies have spent millions of dollars for recognition. Um, So there's a reliability and a trust in knowing some of these companies. So that's ethos. You could also think about ethos is also like the use of the celebrities. So using celebrities in your ad, which a lot of these Super Bowl ads do, adds to the credibility, because if Matt Damon and Jennifer Lopez are promoting Dunkin' Donuts, then they must use or like that product. Um, and so we want to be like them, right? So that's another form of your ethos. Um, your logos, a lot of that came from, if you went to the official website, you found a lot of information about their logos, things that they're doing to help their communities, charities they're doing to help that, um, ways that they are doing or being sustainable. Um, those are all things that you could have gotten from the official website for the logos. Then the pathos, again, is the emotion. That is the easiest for most of y'all. We're able to pick that out right off the bat, so we're not going to linger on pathos. So evaluate the quality and effectiveness. So how did they, which ones were used the most, the least? Were they effective? Was it good for their target audience? So the last 2 pages of the ad was, I kept many times I said to y'all, go to the last 2 pages. So this breaks it down Barney style, as one of my students in my 011 class says. This breaks it down exactly how you're supposed to do this paper, right? Including some tips to help you and your extra credit stuff. So you start with, you're going to be using MLA, and I recommend you have free versions of the Little Seagull that is inclusive with your tuition that you paid. So I encourage you to use that. You can also go to, while we're here, you can go to the Purdue OWL, which is the Purdue Online Writing Lab. So when you go, if you want to go to Purdue to find out how to do in-text citations, I recommend that you Google in-text citations MLA, hit enter, and then look for the Purdue OWL, and it'll take you directly to the page you need to go to without having to comb through their website to find what you need. That way you can go directly to it. A title and subtitle, which we talked about in the formatting of the paper. An introduction. So this can be 1 or 2 paragraphs, but you need a hook. You need to explain kairos, which is the rhetorical situation, like the ad's content, who's responsible for the ad, where and when did it appear, but where in the broadcast. So the cost of the ads varies depending on when the ad aired. So when do you think the most money is going to be spent on an ad? Maybe halftime, right? Or the beginning of the game. Towards the end of the game, those are what we would call the cheap seats. Those are the ads that people are still going to see, but if it was a blowout game or your team is winning or whatever, and you tuned out, those ads might not get seen. But the ones at the beginning of the Super Bowl and the ones especially during the halftime, because people who aren't really watching the game will tune into the halftime, those ads cost more. That's part of the situation, the rhetorical situation. Um, and any general relevant background information. All of that needs to be in this introduction. A brief, accurate description of the commercial advertisement. So you might want to, and I'm thinking this is the first time I've actually assigned this particular paper. I've done other visual rhetorical analysis, but they were with print ads. So I think I might change it where your brief description will be where you definitely will have a separate paragraph before you go into your thing. But for this one, it could have been one big blob introduction, but it needed to include all of this information. Then the last thing in your introduction should be your thesis statement. The Dunkings ad, Super Bowl ad featuring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon effectively played on the emotions of the audience, while illustrating the credibility of the company. While not using very many facts to back up their claims. Something like that. That's an off the top of my head, not a very good one. But if you just say this ad uses ethos, pathos, logos, that's really not an effective or what I'm looking for thesis statement. So I want you to tell me how it uses it, how it does it, whether it's effective, whether it's not. That's going to lay out your body paragraphs, the order that you state your appeals is the order of the body paragraphs. Notice the body paragraphs will follow the organizational pattern indicated by the thesis statement. So if you said ethos, logos, and pathos, that's how I expect those paragraphs to be. That's what you told me you're going to do. If they don't match, the easiest thing to do to fix that is to change your thesis statement instead of moving body paragraphs around. So in the body paragraphs, you're going to start with each one should have its own paragraph, each appeal. You're going to start with the topic sentence. The Dunkings ad effectively used emotion and humor to play up on the audience, something like that. So you're going to tell us, you don't have to use the words exactly if you don't want to, but you have to tell, it has to indicate that there's emotion, or it has to indicate that you're talking about logic and reason or credibility. Use specific examples from the commercial to illustrate the points of the claim. So you're making a claim, right? Remember, paragraphs should be organized in the way they appeared. That's just how you can. I'm not too picky about the order of some like to do weakest to strongest, strongest to weakest. I don't care about that too much. I mean, that's a suggested way to do it, but it's not one that I'm not going to take off points for. Actual analysis means that you're clearly explaining why a specific part of the ad is an example of an appeal and how it is or is not effective for the target audience. Okay, then your conclusion is going to provide an interesting, effective ending to your essay. It's going to have a summary of the main points, followed by usually there's some kind of point to ponder. Works cited page, you must have at least the ad. And any other sources that you used. I believe in the week 1, I gave you like a site that you could go to that talked about the Super Bowl ads and where, who produced them. Sometimes you can find that on the YouTube description where it says, sometimes if it says more, if you hit that, you'll find out more information about who created the ad. Let's see, what else? Well, when it aired during the Super Bowl, how much it cost to buy that slot. You know, you're talking about millions of dollars are spent on an ad for 30 seconds to a minute. Okay. And then I'm not going to go over all of these grading specifics and stuff. Just know that you need to, if your paper does not follow these, then you need to go in and do some editing and stuff. So I did 5 points extra credit. So some of you took advantage of that for any appointment. I didn't care which kind, whether it was in person, virtual, or document feedback. I allowed all three, and gave the same 5 points for all three. So that is the short little mini lesson. I hope this helps clear some things up for you. Um, if you don't, please contact me, and you have a good day. Thank you very much.